So first, I want to welcome everybody. My name is Sean Kozak, the CEO of Tickblaze. I'm also the managing partner of the NeuroStreet Group, and I'm very privileged to actually bring in Christina Key, who's the CEO of Data Bento. She's here as well. And for a very long time, we've been working on building relationships with their organization. We actually had the privilege of meeting both her and her team, Eric, and then also William actually was there at the Columbia Quant Conference recently. We've been working kind of behind the scenes, building out infrastructure to move forward with some pretty big partnerships with Data Bento, and then ultimately work with them on providing better software and data solutions for both the retail and the institutional market. Now, many of you know of our story on Tickblaze. We're going to get into that in just a minute, but what you may not know is the history of Data Bento and Christina's background and what she's been able to do with their company is nothing short of incredible. William, if you don't mind me saying, William is, held some pretty prestigious positions in some very well-known organizations in the algorithmic and quant space. So we're building a ball team, so to speak, in being able to provide technology and data in a more sophisticated way to not just retail traders, but to the institutional clients as well. And this is kind of like the kickoff event for us before we have more of these. We'll probably put on more of them strategically around specific topics. As we start to build this out and as we start to work aligned with the organization, there'll be more curated conversations around maybe different topics that will be requested by the audience. But for most parts, today we're going to talk about building alpha, which is, generating strategies and finding, the best strategy fit. And then ultimately understanding that your strategy is only as good as the data in which it executes on. And this is where Data Bento comes in. So we do believe that this is a winning formula for quants and algorithmic trading. And hopefully through this presentation, you guys can learn a few things. And we'll open up some Q&A at the end of the presentation for those of you that are interested in just going a little bit round robin, so to speak, and going over some of the details. Okay. So as always, because we are doing an event, we're recording it. We will go over Q&A throughout the presentation. But if we don't answer those questions during the presentation, we're not ignoring you. It's just we want to stay on topic, and then I'll go over them at the end of the event. Okay. We'll also send a recording out to everybody so that you guys can watch this in the future. Okay. So we are in the financial markets. So please note that this is not a solicitation, or I'm not here to give you advice, or I'm not here to provide signals or education around how you can trade your strategies. It's more about information and education around product offerings and what we can provide in the industry to traders and institutional clients. If you could do me a favor and just type a yes in the chat box once you've read this, you understand this, and you accept this disclaimer so that we can move forward like professionals. That would be great. Fantastic. Fantastic. All right. It's a little bit of a backstory here. We're going to get into an agenda. I just want to talk about this. And for many of you who don't know who Tickblaze is and what we do, Tickblaze is a full-blown trading platform, and it's actually hybrid technology. We actually acquired it in 2023. It was originally founded by Daniel Toshner, who was a senior engineer for Blackstone and ultimately Ridgeline Apps, heavily in the quant space. Tickblaze was originally built for institutional brokerage firms. It was never really meant to come retail. And then with our development experience, we acquired it. We invested heavily into the technology. We brought in a fairly large amount of investors and advisory teams. And we've taken the technology to not just retail, but also institutional market environments. And the goal here was for us to be able to provide hybrid technology that doesn't exist in the space. And we launched in 2024. We won several awards because of what we've done with it. And we haven't looked back. It's been an exciting ride so far, but we're just getting started. And so anybody that has any questions on our team, our executive team, our businesses, our future roadmap, or anything in terms of the business, you can let us know, and we'll definitely get in touch with you, set up a meeting, et cetera. Right now, this event is we're going to be very quick, and we're going to go through this topic agenda here in a linear fashion, and I'll explain why. Because there's a process to building and testing strategies. Ultimately, you don't just wake up one morning and have a profitable strategy, right? And you don't just deploy strategies and expect them to turn a profit in real time just because the back test is really good, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the advantage of using Tickblaze as a product for your personal needs or your business needs or your infrastructure. We're going to talk about the two different desktops because Technically, we're actually two platforms in one. We're not just one. And then we're going to transition right into portfolio algo trading. We're going to talk about the algo engine that has been developed for generating better alpha. And we also have some insights on how that will be accessible for developers in the future, in the very near future. And then essentially, we're going to talk about how easy it is to get started with our platform for the retail side, and then ultimately how to get in touch with us on the business to business side. Okay. And at the end, we've got some bonuses for anybody that wants to take advantage of our strategies and alpha or any of the tools that we've got. We've got some pretty cool stuff going on in the marketplace. You guys can take a look at it after. Okay. Does everybody understand that? Type a yes in the chat box. You're with me and we're ready to get going. Yes. So we built Tickblaze into more of a turnkey solution for retail and for businesses. The reason for this is that we're not a broker. So we're broker neutral in that we integrate with liquidity providers, we integrate with bridge providers, we integrate for retail, but also institutional quant. We integrate with prop firms, we integrate with brokers and clearing firms. And the big advantage for us is that we're both a discretionary and algorithmic trading platform, in that they're two separate instances, in meaning you could be a discretionary trader or you could literally be a quant institution building and testing alpha. At the end of the day, it really just depends on your use case. Now, we service multiple asset classes, so there isn't one specific route that you need to take if you're looking at equities, futures, Forex, crypto. We are actually in the process of expanding our product offering into web and mobile solutions in the very near future. And that would include back office for prop and broker. And what's exciting is that we've also built the technology around an open source social network, and we're going to get into the community at the end of the presentation so that you guys know where to go. And it's a good place for you to go and talk to other traders, and you can meet with other quants and other vendors. There's a lot of people that post their code. We post indicators and strategies in that environment. Think of it as like a forum on steroids, so to speak, right? Now, we do provide education internally into the platform. Obviously, depending on you and your use case, you may or may not need education. If you are somebody that's looking for education, we run live trading rooms. We have online education portals for each asset class, but it really just depends on the use case, right? If you're an institutional client, most likely you're not in a trading room, right? If you're a retail trader, most likely you're probably going to go down that path. And we're big on promoting partners, right? We are really big on promoting vendors. I mean, this is obviously, we've brought Data Bento in here to talk about their integrations. When we do the demos, you'll see that we have their data connected into the platform. We like to promote partners because that's how we built the infrastructure around our business, is through joint ventures. We do believe that you're better off scaling with other companies. I think that there's a use case for that, and that we work with development firms, educators, influencers, data partners, you name it, the sky's the limit. Now, one thing that's unique to us is that we offer multiple scripting languages. Now, we're a C# native .NET platform. However, what we will tell you is that we've been spending a lot of time revamping the Python API. Now, anybody in here that's a quant or anybody that's institutional will know that Python is integral to that side of the business. And so when we acquired the technology, we were not happy with the infrastructure around Python. So we've invested heavily in terms of human capital as well as resources to be able to rebuild the entire API. And what's going to happen is we wanted to make it easier to use. We wanted to make it more straightforward in terms of just the experience, similar to how like Quant Connect would handle their Docker containers. We have a full external IDE support and just all of these things that are, unlimited access to our C# SDK does, right? Like we want to make sure that our Python scripting solutions will be, very, very well received in both the retail and the quant solutions. And we just want to make it top tier. And so anybody here that relies on Python or has been asking about Python, it's coming. It's a very big part of our roadmap. And anybody that is using it will be very, very well delivered on that. Okay. Now, market data, we offer data into the platform, but the point of this discussion with Data Bento is that there's nothing compared to what they do, right? So in terms of like their client base, and using Data Bento with our technology, you're not going to see an institutional client use data from a middleman. They're going to go to the source, right? They're going to go to a better better infrastructure. They're going to go to companies like Data Bento, who provides the best of the best data based on retail and institutional needs. So what you're going to find in the future as we expand our product offering to other B2B clients is the relationship around Data Bento and us is going to be very much a big part of our future roadmap. Okay. And so we'll provide you resources and how you can get access to Data Bento if you just want to look at their packages as well and how that integrates into Tickblaze, but we'll get into that here in just a moment. Okay. Type a Y in the chat box. Everybody understands what I've just said, and we can carry on. Okay. Makes sense? Perfect. Now, the standard desktop, everybody starts here. You're not going to become an algo or a quant trader unless you understand the discretionary side of the business. Now, we have modular user interface, floating and dockable UI, which makes it very streamlined for both multi-screen setups as well as laptop traders, right? Position and order management, we're known for our chart trading. So ultimately, our visual drag and drop connectivity, how this operates. If you've been a trader, you understand that order entry has always been a problem. We see this as a problem in many equities technology platforms. The old way of entering trades is through an order ticket or through one-click trading that really isn't user-friendly. The way in which we manage trade activity is heavily on the chart trading infrastructure. Visual drag and drop trading is the future. Anybody that's doing discretionary trading is 99% of the time going to be using visual chart trading levels. Why? Because traders make mistakes with execution, with size, and it's not user-friendly. So we spent a lot of time revamping our chart trading infrastructure with built-in risk management, built-in position sizing, built-in everything that allows traders to be able to manage execution in a very seamless fashion. What's unique is that this also translates into the algo trading side because as a quant trader, we have the ability, and we'll talk about this, to override automated systems, which means you can go in and manually override the trades. If you're in a strategy and you don't want the strategy running on an automated system, right, what can happen is you can then step in, either close, override, manage the position, so that way you have the ability to see the visualization of that. Okay. Let me see. Jason says, can't hear the sound. Is anybody here having problems with audio? Can you guys type a yes if you can hear me, please? That would be great. I want to make sure it's not for everybody. Everybody's good? Maybe Jason just log out and log back in. That'd be great. Perfect. So the thing about us is we have what we call trade management strategies, and this is a function inside of the platform. We'll go into it in the demo here in just a minute, but it allows you to be able to build custom brackets. And basically, it allows you to build infrastructure around how you want to set up templates. How you trade one market versus the other might be different. And so maybe you want to have certain risk parameters, certain targets, certain position sizing built. It's a pain in the you-know-what to have to do it manually all the time. So we have what we call TMS, and this basically allows you to build pre-built templates around execution so that trading can be literally just a click of a button, and it sends all your OCO bracket orders out into the market and allows you to basically trade without having to rebuild everything from scratch. Now, we're really big on drawing and charting because obviously it's really a major part of the trader's journey is marking up your charts, your levels, all of that stuff. But what we did was we also realized that most traders aren't trading on one monitor. So ultimately what you want to do is you want to be able to draw on one chart, see it on everything. So we have a lot of cross-pollination between the functionality and the technology, and it really makes sense for customization, especially on your journey as a trader. Now, we're known for custom indicator development, and we're also known for like order flow trading. We have a built-in library of over 200 plus studies, but we also have a marketplace of premium and free scripts, and we're going to talk about what the marketplace is and where you can go to take advantage of this. We're also very big on dome trading, depth of market, order book, everything. And this is where Data Bento comes in because they have the best depth of book in the business, right? Like you're not going to do better in terms of order queue and latency and depth of market book anything compared to what they do, right? Like, you know, that's what they're known for. So if you're somebody that's looking at trying to get the best fills, trying to remove latency, trying to run strategies, whether it's a manual trader or an algorithmic trader, that's why Data Bento exists, right? That's the whole point, right? And so obviously time and sales, Watch lists and scanning. We've got some new development coming around watch lists and stuff. So be on the lookout for the next public release. We've got some really new custom development that's coming. We've also added level 2 windows for equity traders. So we have some really, really big stuff coming out in the next public release that many traders are going to want to take a look at the release notes, just due to the fact that we've really revamped our technology for equities and for the equity market. And so we're very excited because we have level 2 windows and we have click and click order execution that's cutting edge. It's just you guys are going to be blown away by what's coming on the standard side of the platform. Okay. Now, what I want to do, I want to go in, I want to show you this for a second. So let's go into this. So Tickblaze real quickly here. We'll get into alpha generation in a second. We're going to talk about algo strategies. But one of the things on this is that when we connect data to the platform, you're going to see that I'm connected to a data bento account. And that's by design. You can add the data bento connection, and then you can connect to any broker that you want. And this is important because data bento is a data connection. What we can do is you can set up different liquidity routes, whether that's interactive brokers, whether that's CQG, whether that's Rhythmic, whether that's whatever. You can use the data from data bento as a better solution based off of your needs as a trader, right? So you'll see I'm using data bento's data right now for this. And what's interesting is that even though we're connected to data bento's data, we've built infrastructure in the platform for options levels. We have the ability for us to run 0 DTE and weekly options on gamma and exposure. It's irregardless of the data connection, but you can use data bento as a discretionary trader, no different than maybe what you're used to using now. It's just the accuracy of the data is 9 times out of 10 going to be superior to that in which you're going to get from other providers. Okay. Does everybody understand that? We're not going to get into the weeds of like how to draw on charts today and how to load an indicator. We're not going to go down that path. That's not what this event is for. But if you are a discretionary trader, you'll be able to use the data connections interchangeably. One thing you'll want to know is the TMS strategies here. This is exactly what I was talking about with like visual chart trading and infrastructure. I'm going to show you this, is that when you load these templates, let me just pull this up here. You can set up custom order execution for manual trading so that you can run money management, risk parameters, targets, and stops all through templates. And then you can set up different templates, and then you can just literally click a button and you're going to send all your orders and you'll be able to drag and drop your orders. Okay. So really quickly, that's just a summary of the standard side. What we're going to do is we're going to now go into the strategy side, and we're going to talk about alpha. We acquired Tickblaze because it is the only platform of its kind when it comes to strategy building and testing and deployment. Some would say that's our competitive advantage in terms of tech. Obviously, we've evolved the technology to be much more than what it has been since we've acquired it. But what I will tell you is that from the algo perspective, the last 12 months of our development team's resources has been geared around building infrastructure into the quant side of the tech so that we can provide resources both for retail and for institutional clients. Now, when we say it's the only platform of its kind, it truly is based off of what it can do for portfolio level infrastructure. And we're going to talk about that in just a moment. Now, you can build strategies. Now, as a retail trader, most retail traders will buy strategies. They will most likely go to our marketplace, buy a strategy because it's already pre-built, right? And depending on if it's a trend trading strategy or a momentum strategy or an opening range strategy or whatever it is you're trading, maybe it's a scalping strategy or whatever, most retail traders will buy their strategies from a vendor or from our marketplace. As a developer or as a quant, most of you will have your strategies built in-house, or you will build them, or you will have a development team build them, and then you would need to integrate them into the platform. Now, for B2B partnerships, we have dedicated dev teams that will work with our partners to help bring those scripts into the platform. Obviously, privacy and NDAs and certain contracts can be basically signed to ensure that the privacy and the code maintains yours. But the point is that we can work with you as an institutional or business partner to onboard your strategies and scripts into the technology so that your teams can use the platform at capacity. Okay. Now, as I mentioned, we're updating the Python API. Once that's available, when we deploy this for institutions, you'll be able to take advantage of C#, Python, and the command line interface for institutional clients and those feeds. Okay. Now, we are known for backtesting. It is one of our strongest it is one of our strongest selling features. We have some of the fastest backtesting in the business. It's what we've evolved to becoming our main mandate. And the goal here is that it's not just about backtesting one strategy. Most platforms, when you build strategies, you can build one strategy at a time and you can backtest it on, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4 markets. Well, what Tickblaze can do is you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 20 strategies, and you can backtest those on markets, and you can backtest those on portfolios. So you may want to run a backtest with one strategy, but test 1-minute charts, 5-minute charts, 15-minute charts, 60-minute charts. You can't do that on retail tech platforms like MetaTrader or NinjaTrader or Thinkorswim or Robinhood or any of these retail tech stocks. Like, you're not going to do that, right? You are not going to be able to go and actually test multi-bar types, multi-time frames, multi-correlation around portfolios. Their platforms are just not designed to do that. Ours is by design. So whether you're testing one strategy against one basket, you're testing one strategy against 10 time frames or bar types, or you're testing 10 strategies against all of that, you have the ability to do that. You also have the ability to optimize those parameters, right? So when you look at optimization, that's exactly what we're doing. Is you're not just starting with a back test, you're starting with an optimization. Then once you have an optimization, you run the back tests. And it really is about this, because alpha generation, it's a two-step process. Well, it's actually three. You come up with the concepts in R&D. You say, okay, I want strategy to do this, this, and this. You put all your rules together, and your quants or your team or whoever you have working with you will put your strategies together. And then it's like, okay, well, are they profitable? Right? A lot of people don't realize that it's not just about the idea, it's about the idea, then the construction of the idea. Once that idea is now constructed, it's coding it into the platform. Once it's in the platform, that is where you can optimize it for best alpha. Once you find the alpha, once you've nailed down that, okay, like this actually has merit, or there's merit historically, right? When you run walk forward environments, when you run walk forward simulations or Monte Carlo or Python infrastructure or execution infrastructure, it's not just about the back test. There's two components to moving a strategy live. Okay. The strategy going to live is about, like, well, I'll give you an example. A lot of resources out there in the quant space, all they do is handle basic back testing, like very, very basic. Now, we're not going to name other companies or vendors because I don't do business like that. It's not every company out there is trying to do the best they can. It's just some technology stacks are more equipped to handle different solutions. What we can do in the strategy execution aspect is that we can deploy to liquidity, right? But we can also partner with companies like Data Bento, which provides better data and lower latency. So the goal for us is not just about, oh, let's build a strategy and hopefully this crossover makes us some money. No, if you're a fund, or if you're running an institutional quant firm, or if you're a business, you're going to build the strategy, you're going to find alpha, then you're going to figure out, well, how do I execute the strategy, right? And how do I remove the latency? And how do I get better data quality? And so retail traders don't get to that stage because retail traders don't really care about that. They're not managing a big enough book of business for that to matter. But in the real world of real live trading and real brokerage accounts, it's a real thing, right? And so we handle all of that. We handle all of that because Tickblaze was designed for the entire life cycle of quant, from building, testing, to optimization, to deployment, plus now data integration for better solutions. And so that is kind of why I'm excited for this, because as we evolve our technology and as we work with companies like Christina's and, some of our advisors on the board that have experience in quant infrastructure, it allows us to really move the narrative in a realm where we become the leaders in this space, and we set the new gold standard for what firms need and want, right? Because there isn't a lot of solutions in the industry for this. And in fact, there isn't. And most firms will want to build in-house, which is very, very expensive. And most firms are trying to move away from that because they don't need to anymore. Okay. Now, We have user-friendly scripting. We've already talked about that. We also provide very comprehensive visualization for 3D performance graphs for quants and visualization for data analysts. We also have the ability for portfolio level system capabilities, and we've kind of touched base on this just a moment, okay? And so does everybody kind of understand that? Give me a yes. I see John saying, please send me the link. I'm very interested. Yeah, we'll get you there. Jason says, question when it's appropriate. I want to bring data from Van. Yeah, maybe send an email in, Jason, because we don't have a data connection for that company yet. Maybe it's an API solution, but just send an email in and we'll get you to the CTO and we can talk about that, okay? So before we get into a demo and show you all the magic here, I just want to talk a little bit about why quant strategies matter. Humans are broken. As much as I don't want to say that, we're prone for mistakes. And, you know, when you realize the power of quant resources, right? Manual trading bears a lot of responsibility that most traders are not equipped to handle, right? Whether that's emotions, whether you have a hard time executing because speed of execution is not there, whether you're running high frequency trading, whether you're running just standard swing trading portfolios for big firms, it doesn't matter. You're not going to be sitting there glued to the screen every single moment, and you're going to make mistakes. Any firm is going to make mistakes. Teams will make mistakes doing it manually. Automation solves major problems. And it's not that you're replacing the humans. Okay, let's just get right out and say we're not replacing us. The computers need us to program them, right? The computers need us to tell the software what it needs to do and how to code it. But once we've done our part, it's time for us to accept, it's time to step aside and let the computers do what they're designed to do, right? Why? Because mechanical systems will always outperform an emotional human being. And I've just seen over the last 15 years working in this industry, over the last 5 heavily on the quant space, is that we just see 10 to 1 traders doing better as an algorithmic trader, just due to the fact that they have the data to support their decision making, right? You would better off be deploying a strategy to be able to have data that gives you the confidence to deploy that strategy versus just shooting by the hip, right? Plus, execution is critical. Like as a day trading firm, or if you're trading intraday, depending on the markets, like order execution and fills and all that is critical to systematic trading. And so the goal for us is to use our technology in combination with really, really superior data to allow the automation process to evolve, right? Now, this industry is growing massively. Like we have data and statistical breakdowns of the growth of quant trading. It's growing at a 68% faster growth rate than any other niche in trading next to AI. Like there's AI, and that's not just in trading, there's AI globally. And then there's trading in the capital markets. Algorithmic trading is hands down growing at a faster growth rate than any other trend in the industry. And we see that when we sell to the retail traders, because obviously we sell for one indicator that we sell 10 automated systems. It's a 10 to 1 ratio of like just market acceptance. And we're kind of leading that change. We like to be a part of that, because I do believe that if we can provide better technology resources to traders and businesses and firms and funds, then it's just a matter of time before they realize like this is just a better way of doing business, right? Trading is a business, right? Making money in this industry is a business. It's not a hobby. It's not. And so if you can manage your business by being more systematical, more mechanical, everything will make a lot more sense normally from a results oriented perspective, right? So give me a yes if that makes sense to you. Okay. I want to make sure that I've kind of, you guys understand, everybody with me, type a yes in the chat box. You guys with me? Perfect. Now, we're going to get into some demos here in just a second, but I want to talk a little bit about something that's available to all traders, okay? So what's interesting is that Tickblaze is free for retail traders. For businesses, we can do demos and we can provide you with resources around what's available for institutions and funds and quants. There's just things that retail traders don't use that institutions would, and we'll talk about that. But the thing is that we've built pre-built algorithms in the platform. So even if you are a retail trader or a partner or a business or an institution or a fund or a quant firm, whatever your needs are, We understand that building strategies is a process. So we've built a pre-built library of strategies in the platform. I think there's like 10 to 15 pre-built strategies. And those strategies are standard strategies, crossovers, momentum, oscillator strategies, MACD strategies, VWAP strategies, volume strategies. Why? Because we want you to be able to take advantage of the technology. It's like understanding how to drive your car, right? You get a test drive, you learn the tech, you realize, okay, I really like this, right? And then therefore you can use it. Well, instead of you having to go out and code and you going out having to find developers and figure out, okay, what's code into Tickblaze? No, like we've built it into Tickblaze already. And like this is a screenshot of just pre-built portfolios that we've run over years of data, and even these are profitable. The mention of this is not about finding profitable strategies and just giving you alpha. It's about showing you that we've pre-built things in the platform for everybody to take advantage of so that you can learn how to use the technology to your best advantage. Okay. And so when we run strategies, right, we're going to go over the different oscillators and the different indicators. We're going to talk about these strategies here in a second. We're going to go do a demo. I'm going to show you how to load them. I'm going to show you how to take advantage of them, and then how they work from optimization to backtesting to live trading. Okay. And so ultimately, when we go into these things, you know, there's going to be a lot of different things that we can use for crossover strategies, oscillator strategies, day trading systems, swing trading systems. I like to think of this as kind of like your on the job training, especially if you're like a quant firm or if you're an institutional firm that has a budget for technology and you have 20 quants or you have 30 quants or whatever your mandate is, right? I can basically save you months of your life cycle of time. Your human capital will drop drastically in terms of time spent at the job building things, because all of the stuff that we've done internally for the platform is designed to make everybody's lives faster. What you would normally do in 5 days, we can do in one. What you would normally need with 5 people, you could do with two, right? Like, so the goal here is it's not just about strategies. It's about making it so user friendly and useful that we can ultimately improve your efficiency as a business, whether that's a hedge fund, whether that's a family office, whether that's a quant firm, or whether that's an advisory firm that's deploying systems. It doesn't matter. All that matters is the strategies and the systemization and how it's built into Tickblaze is designed to be a turnkey solution for your business or for you as a trader, right? You might be a very big trader managing a book of business, or a retail trader that's just, wow, I didn't even know this existed in Tickblaze, right? So whatever you are, whoever you are listening to this, you can really take advantage of this. And we're going to go into these strategies in just a second. But here's a great example of us running an optimization across a portfolio. These are across stocks, futures, Forex, and crypto, just using the pre-built systems inside of the platform. Like, you don't even need to go spend money. This is there just to basically play with. And you can see the value of using that technology, and it's already there just as a demo. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is we're going to stop here. I'm going to go into the tech for a second, because I have two demos I want to show you. One is I want to show you the basic backtesting functionality inside of Tickblaze and how to run strategies. And then I'm going to show you what's coming down the pipeline for developers. It's already been made available for retail traders, but on how to generate better alpha and how to take a strategy that's subpar and turn it into a much more profitable strategy. We've built proprietary technology that is part of our R&D process that every single institutional client is going to want to take a look at, because ultimately I can take your alpha and I can show you how to make it more profitable. Not with data. Data will come next, because once you have better alpha on the system, then you plug better data into that. Okay. So here's an example of a portfolio. I'm going to walk you through this. Okay. So when we run Tickblaze as a brain, this is what we call the brain. And it really is a brain, because what it is it's a control center. You can see I have one strategy here. I could literally just hit this button or just hit this button, and I could add strategies and put a portfolio together for quants or anybody that's testing different strategies. Maybe I want to do a strategy on stocks, or a strategy on futures, or a strategy on options, or whatever the case may be, right? We don't service options at the time, but that's coming. Now, I'm going to click on Add Strategy to Desktop. Very simple, click a button. We'll call this the Tickblaze Data Bento webinar demo. Yes. We'll just leave it as a fictitious cash balance for the purpose of simulated testing. And you're going to see here there's a drop down. Now, this is all of the pre-built strategies. Now, I have a couple premium scripts in here. So obviously, like there are a few strategies in here that are from our marketplace, but we've got CCI, moving averages, MACDs, overbought and oversold oscillators, you name it. For this sake, I'm just going to use a very, very simple moving average crossover because this is a webinar. This is a demo. I want to keep it easy and super user friendly. But everything you're seeing here is what we call scripts. These can be coded by you. These could be coded by your development team, or they could be coded by us and provided by us. Whatever the case may be, is that these are imported scripts. So if you have a strategy and you import it into the platform, you would see the script here, and you would basically get to choose between the different scripts. Okay. And so ultimately, when I come in here, click on the edit, I can enable longs for the strategy. I can enable shorts for the strategy. I can choose, fast EMA versus slow EMA. And then I can choose my risk management for the strategy. Okay. This is a very, very, very basic script. This is like as basic as it gets. This was not meant to be a complex script. There's much more complex scripts out there. We'll show you some in a minute. But the goal here is to show you that at a basic level, we're very big on user-friendly infrastructure, and I'll tell you why. When you're setting up strategies to build and test, whether you're a retail trader or you're a fund, the biggest problem you'll have is wasted time because of user error. If you have a hard time with the technology on building and deploying strategies, it's not going to be a good experience. So we spend a lot of time making the user interface very, very linear. What does that mean? One goes to two, then goes to three, then goes to four. So in this strategy, you would set your fast moving average before your slow moving average. Then you would set your risk management. In a strategy that has 30 different parameters, it's built in a way where you set one at a time and you don't make mistakes and you don't lose yourself in that process. Does this make sense to you guys? I just want to make sure that makes sense to you guys. We're going to fix quantity, set it as 1. Okay. Now, once you set the parameters in the strategy, you go to next and you select the day. Like you want to do daily charts, minute charts, volume charts, Renko charts, weekly charts, whatever your strategy needs, you can do that, right? And let's say you want to run it on a minute chart, right? And you want to run it on symbols. We go in here and we add the symbols. Let's say I want to run this on, I don't know, Apple. Let's just pull up Apple. We go here, we find stocks, we type in Apple, and there's Apple, right? We just run it on Apple and we just, perfect, right? We're going to run it. Now, this has got one strategy. You'll see I've just added a strategy. Now I've got two here, right? I've got strategy, the symbol, what time frame, what bar size, everything, right? Then what we do is we go in and we actually set the time in which you want to test this, right? Now I'm on a 1 minute chart. So if I'm going to test this, you might want to use daily charts, maybe monthly. If you're a fund and you're managing big balances, maybe it's an hourly chart, whatever your strategy needs. But let's say I want to go back and I want to test the last week of data on this strategy. I just go in here, I choose the time, and right, we come in here, we do a demo. We come in here, I think we're in September now, September 3rd. Let's say I want to run this on Sunday to today. I can set advanced scripts. We can set commissions. We have other advanced scripts that are coming. So just a few things just to make a note of. We have portfolio balancing coming. We have taxation, right? We have asset allocation coming. So there's going to be 4 more advanced studies that are going to be added here very soon. And this will normally be for funds or for institutional clients that are managing portfolios. They're just being added in as we speak. Now, when we run a strategy, we're going to backfill that data. By default, we have it turned on, so it automatically backfills the data. But I'm going to basically just run that back test, and it's going to download the data. Now, because I don't even know if this strategy is profitable. I didn't set the position size. I think it's one share. So let's go back and let's take a look at this. I'm going to go and edit the strategy. And let's go in and maybe you want to set it to 100 shares of Apple, right? Hit OK. Hit finish, and then let's go back and let's add a little bit more time to this. Let's just go back to, I don't know, let's say the 3rd of that month. Yeah, so there it is. So we're going to run this. Give it a second to download that data. And you can see here, clearly that strategy is not something you want to trade, right? Like I'm just setting things up for demos, but we're going to talk about, this is the whole point of Tickblaze. Like nobody wants to go into the market and deploy strategies without knowing if you have good alpha. Like everybody in the world wants a strategy that is profitable. That's the point of trading. That's also the point of using Tickblaze, is to take your thesis, your R&D, put it into the platform, and then make it profitable so you can deploy it with real capital. Okay. And so let me give you an example of what that would look like if we've already done that over a portfolio here. I'm going to close this out and we'll delete this. I ran a strategy yesterday, optimized it on daily bars. I'm running it on, some of the major stocks, right? We put that back to, I don't know, let's just go back a couple years, 2018. Now this is using Data Bento's data, right? We're back testing and optimizing this. I got to select the strategy. Done. So instantaneous back test, like lightning speed back tests. Like now, obviously I've cached the data. So once the data is downloaded onto the computer, you can look how fast that back test was. I didn't even blink and it's just instant, right? And so that's the back test of running those stocks using the same strategy that I was just showing you, only on daily bars. I was using the same script, the same exact script, but I'd optimized it on daily time frames and found a really, really good performance report, right? Now, we do that through optimization. We don't do that through backtesting. Tickblaze's optimization infrastructure is built to find better alpha. So what we do is we run the optimization window. We can set the optimizations so you can come in here and you can choose, do I want to optimize for, Sharpe ratios, payoff ratios, net profit? You want to optimize for profit factor. You want to optimize for win rates. Whatever you're trying to optimize for, you can do that. Now, here's the kicker. I can choose what I want to see in my optimization reports. I can choose everything that I want to see. And then I go and I set the strategy parameters. So what this allows me to do is I can open up the drop down. I can say, okay, I want to optimize from a 5 period all the way up to a 20 period, and I want to go in increments of 1. And then I want to compare that to a 30 period versus a 100 period, and I want to go in increments of 1, right? This allows me to optimize the EMAs or whatever the strategy parameters are, which gives me the foundation of finding the best strategies, right? And when I optimize, I just literally hit okay. And you're going to see that, look how fast it's optimizing these strategies. Like this is optimization, and we're going back, I don't know, 9 years. Now we're using a very basic script, and we're not using tick data intra-bar, but still for this to optimize an entire portfolio of markets, very, 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 very fast resources that have been deployed to be able to find the best alpha. And there it is. I now know that this is the best strategy performance here at 4 profit factor. I can click on this button down here and I can say, let's run that back test. It's going to back test that strategy from the optimization. And there it is. That's the optimization of that strategy. Now, I know I've gone quite fast because I'm very experienced on the software, but it's that simple once you understand the tools that you're doing. Now, here's really something that's really unique to traders that are building strategies, wanting to compare different markets, different time frames, etc. There's a little compare button here. I can hit compare, okay? And if I wanted to compare strategies, I could compare strategies against each other. Now, I only have one strategy here, okay? But if I wanted to compare different strategies versus each other, I could do that. Now, when you run a strategy in Tickblaze and you run live trading, this is the optimization process and this is the backtesting process. But when you deploy them, you click on workspaces and you'll actually see the strategies executing in real time. That you can click on the workspaces, you can watch the strategies executing in real time. And if you're running multiple strategies, this is one, you could have them different docked interfaces, right? You can do this. Now, let me show you an example here. Okay, I'm going to show you an example. Okay. This was on daily bars. You understand this? Now watch how fast this is to build a portfolio and compare the same system on different time frames. I'm going to right click, duplicate the strategy. I'm going to go into the second strategy and I'm going to change the data series to weekly time frames. Maybe I want to compare it as a swing trading portfolio for stocks or whatever you're doing. And then basically what I can do is I can hit finish. And now I'm testing the same strategy on daily bars, but I'm also testing it on weekly bars. This is now where I stepped into what we call portfolio level strategy testing. I just made that up, but it sounds sexy. Okay. Now, the point is that this is now a portfolio. You cannot do this on retail platforms. What's the break point here? The break point isn't that we're using symbols. The break point is the days and the time frames. This is where I say I save you days and weeks off of your team's life cycle, because normally you would have to run a strategy on one time frame, document the data, then run it on a different time frame, document the data, then correlate the data. What a process. We just instantaneously run this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to optimize these both simultaneously. And what we're going to do is we're going to run this optimization. Give it a second. Give it a second to load. Might take too long to run them simultaneously. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause it. I'm going to optimize the other one first, and then I'll show you. Let me do this. I don't want to run too much time on a webinar. Give me a second. So let's run the weekly one first. This is the weekly stocks. Okay, we're going to back test that. We're going to optimize that. There we go. 1 second. And perfect. And brute force. I think I changed it on brute force. Yeah, give me 1 second. 1 second. Brutal symbols, miscellaneous. The point of the matter is you can do this on both. Okay. And when you run them on both, let me just run this up and make sure I didn't set the setting wrong. Daily. Let me make sure I didn't set the setting wrong. Daily on bar close. Weekly. Make sure the symbols are there. Yeah. Okay. Let's run a back test on that. Let's see if it runs it. Weekly time frames. Yeah. Run the weekly first. Let's run the weekly. Okay. And then we'll go back and we'll optimize the weekly. So we're going to optimize that. Let's go and optimize that strategy, brute force, and there it is. And let's set the profit factor. Let's go in and actually set the settings now. So let's say I want to run the weekly and I want to run it on 5, but I want to run it on 5 increments. And then we're going to go here and we're going to run this on 5 increments as well. So what we're doing now is we're setting up the settings. Okay, 1,000 shares, perfect. Okay, and we're going to optimize that. So now I'm optimizing the week. Do you see what I just did on the week? See how fast that was? Literally, I optimized the same strategy, but whoa, what a different profitability. Like the same strategy, the same factors on weekly timeframes versus daily. Now what we're going to do is we're going to run that back test. We're going to take a look at that performance. Okay. And give me 1 second here. I don't know if I have enough data for weekly, but we're going to do that. Let's go in here, take a look. Perfect. I don't have enough look back. That's the key. Weekly, I need more look back. Long story short, I run them together. I can run a portfolio in the back testing of it, and I can see both strategies simultaneously. Okay. I could hit compare, and I can run these side by side. Watch this. I can take the stocks on the daily, and I can do it here, and I can compare them simultaneously to be able to see the strategy portfolio performance side by side. Does everybody understand this? This is the whole point of like doing it instantaneously without having to ultimately, how do I say this? Spend days and hours and weeks of your life trying to run a strategy and then having to write everything down and document it and then just compare it. It's just, we know from experience, because when we build systems, the amount of people and the amount of human capital it takes to run correlation analysis and testing analysis between timeframes and markets and different strategies, it becomes a very, very big process that realistically it takes a lot of time, and most people don't want to have to do that, right? So the goal here is we have a built-in library of scripts which you can keep adding strategies. You can run the tests and you can go and change them. But what I will tell you is like we have a portfolio that you can basically come in and take advantage of, test them, find your alpha, etc. Now, one thing I want to do is I want to share with you something that we've built that is cutting edge, that's going to take this to the next level. And the whole point is this. Now, this is the future of Tickblaze. This is the future of quant strategy alpha generation. Now, this has taken 4 years to develop this. We've built it originally on other tech stacks. We evolved it. We've put 50 quant systems through the engine on other technology stacks. We've perfected it. And then what we did was we said, okay, let's bring this into Tickblaze. Let's make it a part of the development lifecycle of the platform. And I'll explain why this is so important to this discussion. When you have basic strategies, okay, you get basic results. And I don't mean basic as in complex or in terms of like sometimes the simplest logic to enter a trade is the most profitable. But it's not about the signal logic that makes you the money. From our experience in building systems, everybody focuses on the entry signal, whether that's arbitrage, whether that's crossovers, whether that's volume, whether that's correlation analysis between spreads or between interest rate decisions, whatever your strategy is, it literally is 20% of your alpha. 20%. And yet everybody focuses on this. It doesn't make any sense. Everybody tries to find the perfect entry. And this is why nobody has any money. This is why everybody blows up their accounts. This is why funds go out of business. This is why institutions spend millions and millions of dollars on really intelligent people, but they don't get any further ahead because everybody's looking at the wrong data. It's not just about execution. It's about all the stuff that takes a strategy to profitability. So this is what we call the signal. And this is what everybody starts with. What we do is we're going to determine, how do you enter the trades? Are you entering by scaling? Are you entering by just full size positions? What's your money management, et cetera? What's your stop loss functionality? Is it a factor of distance? Is it a factor of volatility? Is it a factor of ticks? Is it a factor of time? Then we look at targets. Are you looking at volatility targets? Are you looking at 1 exit, 2 exit, 3 exits? Are you scaling out of the position? Are you legging out of the position? Then we look at time of day. Are you trading the Asian session? Are you trading the London session? Are you trading the US session? Are you trading all the sessions? Maybe you have strategies that work really, really well during the prime times, but you want to block them going into fundamental catalysts that would normally blow up. So you can put restrictions into the strategies so that you can block things like maybe you're a crude oil trader, but you never want to trade on inventory reports. You can put that in here and you can block out your strategy's ability to trade that. Money management. Money management is the difference between really scaling profitable systems. We have what we call high watermark filters. High watermark filters are when, let's say you are up a position and you're up 10 grand on the trade, or maybe it's $1 million on the trade if you're a fund. You can set high watermark functionality so that if the position pulls back 20%, 30%, you can cut the trade, and therefore you always end positive on the position. This is really, really, really important stuff that most people don't even realize is built into our technology, and this is now ready for distribution. Now you can put filters around time and moving averages and directional filters and momentum filters and market structure filters, because some strategies are directional, some strategies are oscillating, some strategies are contained. Depending on what your strategy's focus are, everything to do with the filters. Some strategies you might want to trade trends, but you want to make sure that your linear regression slope is in your direction as well. So you're not just looking at trend, but you're also looking at velocity. These are all things that are built into the engine, because if all you do is build your alpha on 20%, you're going to get smoked. And I've seen even the best of traders take strategies live and they blow up. This is where walk forward testing becomes very enjoyable, because everybody has strategies that look good in the past, but then when they bring it forward, it's not so good, right? And so what we want to do is we want to ensure that it's not just about the past, it's about understanding how to make your walk forward environment better, because that's the difference between really good alpha. And then once all this checks out, you add data bento. And why? Because if you use lackluster data and you just spend all this infrastructure and all this time and all this energy into building alpha, and then you deploy it on a retail feed, we already know what's going to happen. You're going to move to the end of the bus, right? And that's not how professionals manage alpha. They don't deploy using fills that are fourth, fifth, sixth in line, so to speak, right? So here's a snapshot of what the technology looks like internally. We're not going to get into the weeds on this today because, first of all, what we've done is we have section on entries. We have sections on stop losses. We have sections on targets and exits. We have sections on time. We have sections on money management. We have sections on filters and market structure, which is price action, momentum filters, strategy visuals. What we did, and this is important because I'm a big believer in testing infrastructure and putting users into the tech before going large with it, is that you kind of walk before you run. So what we've done is we've launched 3 premium scripts in the marketplace right now for retail traders. And every time we did this, we've proven that these core engines took strategies that were like this and made them better. And so what we're doing is we're making them available for retail scripts for the retail clients, but we're also building what we call a developer license. And this will ultimately be able to be purchased for developers so that they can build their own strategies. Remember what I said in the prior example, and I'll show you this, is that maybe you're a firm or maybe you're a quant and you don't want to use our strategies or buy a strategy and you want to build your own strategy. You would be responsible for this 20%. You code your logic or you have your own, and then we will provide you with the core engine, and that way you can plug it into your script. And so this is coming. We're in the process right now of releasing this for developers and institutional partners. It's really going to be more for the experienced quants and developers that have teams and stuff that are going to be using this. But the goal is to be able to provide it for our B2B solutions so that everybody has this. Now, it's really important because it's all UI enhanced and it's all built in for everybody to take advantage of. And that way, when you do deploy with live trading or walk forward environments, you can really believe in what you're doing. Now you say, well, Sean, why would I want to use this? Like, why would this be so important? Well, I'm going to show you. This is a real live example of what we did. This was the strategy that we had just using the strategy parameters. Okay. Like literally just using the strategy parameters. So take a picture of this. Okay. You take this strategy and you're like, that's a lot of trades. Like, holy shit, that's a lot of trades. You can see all the fills. You can see all the executions. Okay. Well, we're like net 1,500 here. We took this exact same strategy and we plug it into the core engine and we add all the bells and whistles to enhancing the alpha. And there's a big difference between 1,500 and 11,000 in profit on the same system, on the same time frame, on the same market. Like that's magnitudes of scale difference. We go from this, which is bleeding your account and churning and burning, to plugging that into the core testing engine using Tickblaze to deploy that. And then basically that's the difference between having a break even or a losing fund or strategy versus having something that you can be proud to run forward and actually test in live markets. And so that's the difference between having this, this, and building that up and to the right. Now, does everybody understand that? The goal here is to see green on the screen so that you can deploy it in live markets and feel excited about what you have. Give me a yes if that makes sense. John says yes. Anybody else with me? Take some water so that way I don't choke on the mic here, guys. Now, getting a lot of questions about what is Data Bento? Data Bento is a data company. And what a lot of people don't realize, and then we're gonna go into this for a second, is that Data Bento is a data company, and they're a superior organization that runs cutting edge data for some of the world's largest institutional firms. There's a reason why they work directly with the exchanges and they deploy the infrastructure to more experienced professionals. Could you benefit as a retail trader? 100%. You could get data from Data Bento, and your data is going to be available for stocks, futures, and equities and options. I don't believe, Christina, maybe you can answer this at this time. I'm not sure. Do you cover Forex or crypto at this time? I don't think so, right?
We currently don't know.
That's okay. That's okay. I mean, it's your business model, right? So obviously, if you're an equities trader or a futures trader or an options trader, data here is at the top of the line, right? Now, why do I say this? Because there's a lot of data companies out there, and we work with many of them, and we integrate with many of them, but they're not all equal. And there's a very, very big difference between what Data Bento can offer traders and institutional clients in Tickblaze versus just using rudimentary feeds. Now, I'm not here to say that other data companies don't do a good job. That's not the message. What I'm saying here is there's a difference between the majors and the minors, and these guys are in the majors. Okay. And so, what I'm trying to do here is position you guys so you understand this in that we are aligned with Data Bento for the purpose of Tickblaze is built for not just retail, but it's built for institutional quant firms. And so, it's very easy. You come in, you connect, new data connection, you go here, you add Data Bento, you put your name. When you have Data Bento, I'm going to change the name here, Data Bento 2. It's an API key. Like it's super, super easy. It's the future of data, if you ask me. It's like you get the data, they give you a key, you put it in, click, connect, and Bob's your uncle, right? And John says, I subscribed to live data with Data Bento last month. He says, I'm really happy with it. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Yeah, excellent. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm explaining that it doesn't matter who you are, whether you're a retail trader and you want to buy data directly from them, or if you're an institutional partner that's already working with them or getting ready to work with us and them, we can service the full life cycle of discretionary and quant solutions. But the future is going to be the algo testing engine for better alpha. And I'll show you a little bit about what that looks like here really quickly. When I want to build a strategy using a premium script, and what is a premium script? Premium scripts are on our marketplace. I'll show you this. You can go here under marketplace and you can click on shop. It's going to bring you here. We've just started adding these. Every single one of these have the algo engine built into them. Now, I'm not here to try to push these strategies. That's not the objective today. What the objective here today is to show you that as we release strategies to traders, okay, every single one of these strategies has the algo engine built into it. And then what's going to happen is developers will soon be able to get a license of that, okay, so that you can build your own systems using the same technology. Now, I'm going to show you what that looks like. I'm going to use this as an orb strategy, and we're going to do algo engine, okay? And you come in here, and I'm going to just click the one and done algo. Now, you're going to see the script is a lot more comprehensive than the basic script that I was just showing you. And so what you may not know is that this is a very standard strategy, the opening range breakout. I mean, I don't know a trader that doesn't know the opening range breakout strategy. You set the time to like a 5-minute chart or a 15-minute chart, right? And then you get time, and then there's a range, and then if it breaks out, it takes a long. If it breaks down, it takes a short. It's nothing sexy. It's very profitable done correctly. It's a very standard strategy. But like I said, that's the 20%. So we build that into the script. So if you see here, I'm going to show you this. I'm going to open this up so you guys can take a look. Is that there's the opening range settings. Do I open the opening range? Am I entering on bar close? Am I entering on ticks? Am I entering at 9:30 off the open, etc.? But then I can set all the settings, and then I can plan. Do I want to go in with multiple targets? Am I going in with fixed size, money management? Am I doing a percentage of my account? All these things are left by chance, and nobody knows how to take their strategies profitable. And there are other technology providers in the quant space that make this extremely difficult, and it doesn't have to be, right? So the goal here is to provide better technology solutions so you can build alpha and you can set the targets. Maybe you want to use ticks, ATR, ticks as a target. Maybe you want to use ATR as a target. Maybe you want to use just risk and reward as a target. You can block days. You can set inactive trade windows. You can choose, do I trade on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays? You get the point, right? And then after you build all the settings, you hit OK, and then you deploy the strategy. And that's exactly what we've done with a lot of the strategies that we've released as a company. And, you know, you can go in and you can watch some of the training videos that we've done on this. But I want to kind of explain what's so sexy about this is that Tickblaze is free for retail traders. And you can use Data Bento to enhance your strategies, whether you're a retail trader or an institution. Obviously, institutions will only use solutions like Data Bento, right? And that's the goal, is to be able to provide that integration so that we can deploy and provide better resources together with our company and theirs, okay? Now, I want to share a few things, okay? For anybody in here that doesn't know how to use our technology or is looking for more resources around training, I want to show with you some resources here really quickly. And anybody in here that does want to buy strategies or anything, we're running a promotion. This isn't some sales pitch. It's just if anybody is interested in the marketplace, all of our strategies and all of our indicators and all of the stuff is available to you. And you can basically, let me just put that up here and grab that for you. You can go to this link, and I'm going to put some stuff here in the chat box for you, and you can save it. And then I'm going to show you where all the training is. Okay, so take this link, and then you can ultimately take the coupon. Take this right here. There's a coupon here. It says DB500. Just write that down. There's a coupon that says Data Bento 500. What this is a coupon. If anybody's interested in using strategies, indicators, or any resources, we'll give you $500 off everything in the company. Just you can go in and you can go and buy Data Bento data. I think everything's internally in the portal. When you log into our members area, you can actually, there's a link that brings you right to Data Bento's solutions, so you can do that inside the platform. But I want to show everybody where the training is. We're big on training. We're big on videos. So if you like to watch videos rather than read really, really long user manuals, that's the goal. So if you go to our YouTube, if you're new to Tickblaze, or if you're just getting started with quant solutions or anything like that, I'm going to go down here. There's a few playlists. If you want to look at some of the strategies, and maybe Pete, we can put the third one here. I think we're supposed to have 3 there. There's ultimately, all of these are educational webinars we've done on tools inside of Tickblaze for traders. We're now starting to add all of the algos. There's another one here we'll add, but we have another one going out tomorrow. And then probably within the next 6 months, you're going to see 10 to 15 algos in here, and they're all going to be using the core engine. In the very near future, what's going to happen is we're going to ultimately put a video in here that teaches how to build and test using the alpha generator that we've just talked about. And then here, these are all free. So what you may not know is that we're big on giving back. And why is that? Well, because nobody's going to use your technology if nobody knows what it can do. And so let me show you something that is free. If you go to Tickblaze, the marketplace, and you click on free, these are normally charged by vendors in the internet, like thousands of dollars on these top software products. So you can go and download all these for free. You can also find these for free inside of the community. Now, William, you're in the community, if I'm not mistaken. You've got Harmonic Insights and a few others in there. What's interesting is that you can go into the community, you can go to actual indicators and scripts, and you'll see that we've put indicator scripts here, tons of them. You can download them. You can take a look at, these are all free. You can download the source code. They're all here for you to download. But let's say you want to go in and you want to take a look at strategy scripts, and you want to take a look at other people's code. This is open source code that you can download, you can play with. It's an open source community for in here. And we put this in here because all of these free scripts are also inside the community. So that way you can download them and you can communicate with other traders. Okay. Now, we have videos and playlists on the 2 different desktops. What's important to understand is that you're not going to learn how to drive a Ferrari unless you know how to turn it on. And you have manual traders, which are going to use the standard desktop. You have strategy or quant traders that are going to use the quant trading desktop, okay? I promise you, if you spend one day watching these 5 to 10 minute videos, your whole experience with Tickblaze will change. Why? Because it teaches you everything in such a short manner that it's next to impossible for you not to understand how to do everything we've just talked about. And it's in a linear fashion, right? You learn how to do this before you do this, before you do that. And you walk yourself through this. Same thing with these, it's in a linear fashion, right? And these are playlists. Now, if you want to connect to data, okay, if you want to connect to data, we've got a Data Bento video here that is very, very easy to understand. Okay, you can watch this video on getting connected to Data Bento inside of the platform. It talks about how to do that. You can go through the wiki. There's a resource on it. I highly encourage you watch this. So this is very important. You watch this video. So take a look at this. There's a Data Bento video here as well. And this will talk to you about how to get connected with Data Bento. And then if you want to connect to brokers like Interactive Broker, CQG, Rhythmic, etc., you can watch the broker connections as well. Now you can go through the trader community, and these are all the videos here that will give you an understanding of how to communicate with the thousands of traders that are inside of our community. You can come in here and traders are posting, like every day they're posting strategies and they're trading, and it's not a Discord. This is not some bombarded environment that is very prone to hackers and very unregulated. It's very dangerous. Discords can be very dangerous. Not that they're not good and valuable to some extent, is that as a trading platform that has to abide by compliance, working with liquidity providers and data vendors, we don't want to run a Discord for Tickblaze. It's a private open source community. Why? Because we can register, you have a member, you have a login, you can access it, okay? And so you can come through here and you can learn. This is all free. You don't have to pay for this, okay? You can go through layouts. People are posting their layouts. Like if you want these layouts, they're free. You can download the zip files. We have a big section on quants. So if you want to come in here and contribute to quants, you can learn from people in here. You can learn from others that are more experienced, and you can, like William, I think you're here. William, you've been posting a lot in here recently. I think I've seen you doing some stuff in here as well. So it's, William is heavy in the quant space. Christina, hopefully once we get Data Bento up and running in here, we can have you guys contributing here on the data front. It'd be nice to see that. And it'll be nice to get everybody kind of communicating as we roll these things out for strategy traders, et cetera, right? So a lot of stuff in here to take on, a lot of resources, but I just want to let you know that if you're interested in getting better data, this is incredibly the better solution. If you're going to get the best data that exists, this is where it's at. Okay. Friend says, very true. I can confirm that watching the videos makes you better. Yes, as it should. Okay. So that being said, let me just kind of explain a few things in terms of support. If you ever have questions or if you ever need assistance, we have people that will log onto your computer and set things up for you. We have phone, email, remote support. We have environments where you can submit bug features or even feature requests. We've got thousands of reviews globally. We've worked with tens of thousands of traders. And now as we move into the B2B realm for brokers and prop firms, working with Data Bento is a really, really exciting expansion for us because we're going to be moving and grooving, as they would say. Things are going to be moving in a very fast capacity, and we're excited to work with Data Bento. So I think that's pretty much it, right? Don says 5-star white glove service. Yeah. Please note that you can download Tickblaze for free if you're a retail trader. Even if you're an institutional trader or a quant trader, you can download it for free, right? And you can ultimately take advantage of it. If you need real-time data, you can buy from Data Bento, right? You can also, if you already have a data provider, you can use your own, but at the end of the day, it's free. You don't have to pay for it to test drive the tool. And hopefully you guys take advantage of some of the free offers because it's a win-win. Who doesn't like saving money, right? So I think that's pretty much it. I'm going to open it up for questions. Christina, if you want to maybe add a few comments to, your guys' organization and just, I know we've got exciting stuff coming with the prop firm expansion that we're getting ready to do some pretty big things with you guys there. And it's a lot of stuff down the pipeline. Yeah. How much is, yeah, I think everything's on the website for Data Bento's data. So they want to know how much does Data Bento cost? I'd have to check their pricing right here. Yeah, I think it depends. It just depends on if you're a retail trader using standard pricing or if you're an institution. This is for investment firms, right? So this is for individual traders, right? And yeah, right here. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Now, I know, Christine, you haven't been feeling too well, so if you want to save your voice, I can do all the talking. If you want to just text, I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, sure. I just mentioned in the comments as well. So yeah, you do get the $125 in credits when you do sign up. And then yeah, the pricing, there's usage-based pricing, which is good if you use very little data. And then there's the standard plan, which is like if you prefer just paying like a flat amount. So that's better if you use like a lot of data. So yeah, we usually recommend starting with usage-based just because you'd be surprised how much that will take you usually. Yeah, unless you're trading like options. If you are trading options, Options data, as you know, there's a lot of data there, and that tends to be really expensive. In which case, we do recommend paying the standard plan instead, just because it's a lot cheaper than any solution that's out there in the market today. So yeah.
Can you help? I know you don't want to tire your voice out, but we have like I know when we met with you and your team with John and us on the dev side, like there's really big differences between high quality data and low quality data, right? I mean, maybe you can share the difference between using retail feeds versus Data Bento's data.
Oh yeah, for sure. I guess I guess the biggest difference one is just the quality of the integrations and the APIs and stuff like that. So we're definitely a lot more flexible. You'll definitely notice it's a lot easier to use us, regardless of whether you can go on our website and just like add to cart and check out. So you can choose what slice of data you want, what time frame. It's easy to use even if you're not a quant, because you can just go on our website and just kind of
Nice.
like click around and check out and add to cart. So it's pretty easy. You can also use this if you are quantitative. You can use this in Python, C++, Rust. So it's very flexible on that front as well. So yeah, I think the key is more just flexibility. But even if you do want to use a retail broker, that is okay. By the way, we actually do supply data to a bunch of retail brokers too. So we are
Yes.
the data backbone behind a lot of those companies as well, and definitely support and want to support the rest of the industry as well. So I think my answer is always like use the best data solution for yourself based on your own personal situation and what works best for you. And definitely explore what's out there and see what's good for you.
And for quant firms, if I'm not mistaken, like you have solutions like as you move up into the plus and the unlimited solutions, like it's like once you start getting into latency and just building better resources for execution, like it just really depends on the use case, right? Like if you're a retail trader and you just need to see the market moving, it may not be a big deal, right? But if you're somebody that's really wanting to execute size and you want depth of book and you want order queue and it's you guys are kind of like the big player for that if I'm not mistaken.
Right, correct. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So okay, so outside of that guys, William, I know that you and I have a lot of stuff discussing with the algo side and the quant side. William Mann, I don't know if you're here, did he check out?
I
Make sure.
am still here.
Okay. So William, you and I've had many discussions on just the time savings and the human capital savings that it provides institutional firms with regards to, just teams, right? Like when you're a quant, the amount of time and, the costs involved in that deployment is, it's magnitudes of scale difference.
Yes, I can certainly attest to the engineering effort in terms of, time and energy and building these things yourself. And then, in particular, ongoing support and maintenance is incredibly expensive. Um, and, you know, this actually integrating Data Bento into Tickblaze actually solves, two problems. One is onboarding and ingesting market data through a vendor such as Data Bento. And we didn't even get into some of the benefits of using Data Bento over managing multiple pipelines across different exchanges and things like that. But you know a typical quant firm is going to need to build an entire platform just for their market data, and then they need another platform for trading and simulations, and then they need to combine those two things in order to have a backtesting trading simulation module and sort of platform to do that type of research. And so it becomes increasingly important to have that module that allows you to, deploy a new strategy into a research environment and see how it would have performed in a backtest.
Yes.
And, you know, onboarding and maintaining all of this data and the infrastructure is, again, incredibly expensive. And I would say, tens of millions of dollars if you're a very large quant fund, just in terms of the opportunity cost of having teams of engineers working on this in addition to you know, infrastructure and other software engineering. So I'm actually very excited to test this out. And you know, if I did have a question to put up here, it would really just be, you know, the Python API has been in the works for a while. Like, how far away do you think customers of Tickblaze are from you know, conducting this type of research with the marriage of Tickblaze and Data Bento and that environment that I just described?
Yeah, so one of the things that we can see in the near future is you know, we know that the command line interface and the Python will also be completed very soon. So our objective is probably this quarter will be the final stage where we unleash the Kraken. I think that's the goal. I mean, we've been working for years around this infrastructure, and you and I started talking about a year ago, essentially, you know, when we came to market with Tickblaze. But we also know that you know, we've put up infrastructure to be able to support the institutional needs versus the retail. I find the retail community is very simple to serve because we can provide instantaneous solutions immediately, right? But when you start working with big institutional firms, or their needs and their use cases change from institution to institution. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy to see how this unfolds with everybody involved. I think this was the first kickoff call with Christina, you and your team, and William here. Does anybody have any questions for Christina or William or myself that we could go into and you know, go over that? Yeah, I think one question here is saying Data Bento is compatible with any platform that has a bring your own data module. So it depends. Like, you know, if you're using other technology platforms or other resources, it really depends on what they allow, right? Like some platforms have relationships with other companies and they're only married to one environment, right? Whereas others don't, right? We are an open environment where we work with Data Bento because we built that integration. We actually had to code the integration into Tickblaze to be able to support this, because we have to be able to connect those adapters, right? So and that was a very big part of why we're here and what we're excited to do. So, yeah. No, I don't think it would work with NT8 Rain. They have their own data company. Yeah, yeah, and it's a white label of another company who buys their data from another company. So that's what Christina was saying, that most of the data companies are buying the data from the source, and you know, the cat in the bucket, so to speak, right? So, yeah. How is Tickblaze for? Bob, so how is Tickblaze useful for intraday data? Vary. It's, I mean, that's what we're doing. We work with day traders, swing traders, long-term traders. Yeah. Um, Vigilant is asking, is there a method for reverse engineering strategies? Establishing a breakout and then starting. I don't know. I mean, it really that depends on your logic, Vigilant. Yeah, it's Jeffrey wants to know, William, what do you do? Maybe you can tell him where you came from and what you do, and you know, it's yeah.
Sure, happy to. So I left Two Sigma about 2 years ago, and then was on a garden leave for about a year. So over the past year, as Sean said, we met around this time last year. I've been running a company called Harmonic Insights, which is a quantitative research advisory firm. And we tend to work with a lot of fintech providers who are marketing data and products to quants. So that's how I actually know Sean and Christina, because that's, you know, part of what they're doing and looking to do more of. And then, you know, at some point I'm looking to be a beta tester for where I believe this is all going, which is providing direct solutions to institutional quants for that, you know, platform that I described, which is, you know, a trading simulation environment where you can get high fidelity simulations and hopefully have very good representations of how your strategy will actually trade in production. Whereas from experience, you definitely experience you observe a bit of degradation between a research and a production environment. And what does that mean? Typically you struggle to estimate, to have a good T-cost model and trading execution model to marry up with your quant strategy. And I believe that someday a system like this will actually allow you to make more money than you would have in a research, simulation environment, because you can start optimizing your trading plans for specific types of signals. So yeah, I'm very excited to see where this is going. And I saw a couple of questions about L2, L3 data, and when call them medium frequency quants start getting better at execution. I believe there is additional alpha in the microstructure space, and at the very least, I think you can strive for better execution than you get with homegrown solutions or those provided by your prime brokers.
Yeah. So, we've met William on many times, and William's helped, advise in terms of like product roadmap and worked with us on the quant side. It's exciting to see where this is unfolding, and we're excited to work with Data Bento. We have relationships with them for other data solutions for some of our B2B expansions coming in the pipeline. We'll get into that in another discussion, but yeah, it's been a great presentation. Did you guys enjoy it? Did you guys enjoy the time here? I mean, anybody here learn something? I think the whole point is if you're learning something, you're evolving, right? If you're learning more about us, you're learning more about them, you're learning more about the combined solutions, and it's always good to get the feedback from the audience and just, yeah. Yeah, Jeffrey says William is a big brain person. Yeah, coming from Two Sigma, absolutely. Would love to have him and Sean do an interview on retail algos and ideas. Maybe I need to be on the Barbarian podcast, William. We'll create a series.
Yeah, whenever you're ready, we're ready to. I guess we could even mention that I do have a podcast called the New Barbarians Podcast, and Christina has joined that before, and it's just a matter of time before Sean also joins us. And thank you for the suggestion, Jeffrey.
Yeah. Type of Y in the chat box that you're leaving here with more than you came with. I just want to know that we've done our job in delivering value and hoping provide resources for data and technology. And if you're an institutional client, or if you're anybody that is already working with Data Bento and you'd like to get in touch with us, you can reach out to us on the website, and then that'll get forwarded to me directly, and we can set up a meeting. If you're somebody that's running a quant firm, or if you're somebody that is essentially running algo or infrastructure around building and testing alpha, let us know, and you can contact me directly. I'll just show you here. You can go here to the website, and you can just go to Tickblaze, and you can go over here to contact under support, right? And then ultimately just fill in here, and if you need to chat here, or you can just send an email in. I think there's an email here. Jesus. Yeah, you can send it here, and then you can send a support ticket here, and you can start a support ticket, and you can send it over to us. Yeah. The goal here is for you guys to be able, if you have needs as an institution or a business, or if you have a fund, or if you have any bigger infrastructure, let us know, and we can definitely put you in the right direction. Okay, so that's kind of the goal. So yeah, I want to thank everybody for joining us. Christina, thank you for helping make this event happen. I know we co-collaborated on bringing everybody together, and if you haven't checked out Data Bento, you got to check them out. Like they're the real deal when it comes to data. William and I will be doing more conversations in the future. Christina, I'll probably do another event here in the future. We'll probably curate these events to specific topics now moving forward. This was more of an intro kickoff where it's Tickblaze and what's coming on the quant side and the alpha generation, and then the data integrations, et cetera. And then in the future, if you have any other recommendations, or if you want us to do any specific topics, we'd be more than happy to collaborate and kind of fill that mandate. So thanks, Christina, for joining us. Appreciate your attendance.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. And it's great to meet you all. Thanks so much for being here, and definitely love to keep in touch.
Yeah. And William, thanks again for always joining us. We'll be in touch soon. And yeah, traders, enjoy the rest of your day. And we'll send out a recording and we'll put it out on social media and we'll give it out to you guys. You guys can take a look at it. And if you have any questions, let us know. Take care. Have a great day, guys.